Unleaded Toast presents an Elegy in Crimson. Before we begin, a kindness of sorts. This unholy elegy touches dark things. Violence, betrayal, power twisted until it screams, coercion, obsession, regret. The decay of love, yes, but also the predatory ecstasy of domination. The vampires you'll meet, although they're not brooding romantics, they're apex predators dressed in silk and shadow. And the mortals? Oh, they're sheep, fleeting, often forgotten, unless they amuse. They will kill you. They will seduce you. They will destroy what they love the most. Violence here is not without prejudice. Oh, and it is very rarely gentle. Some episodes will hurt. Some may unearth your own forgotten wounds. Oh, you have permission to pause, to breathe, to walk away. But if you stay knowing the void watches back. A low hum fills the void, neither sound nor silence, but something between. A vibration that trembles in the bones of every watcher. The infinite blackness is slick with faint reflections, like an oil catching light that isn't there. Then, without warning, a pulse of gold blooms at the horizon. The light stretches, tears, spills into columns that burn without warmth. From it, the facilitator emerges, part priest, part showman, part executioner, each step echoing like gravel striking eternity. The amphitheater of the damned reveals itself in rippling tears, faces living and dead, their eyes reflecting a single figure descending to center stage. At the heart of it all, a great leather-bound tome hovers, pages blank and trembling. The audience leans forward as the silk whispers across the floor. Darlings, welcome back to the void. Tonight's entertainment washed ashore from an older sea. Salt in her veins, envy stitched to duty, a prayer that learned to bite. Oh, she was born where fjords meet iron, and she named herself useful. Until usefulness broke her. Oh, the skalds, they will say it was winter that kissed her. I will say that winter wore a better mask. Either way, a bargain was struck, and the tide inside her turned. Oh, you know her by the rustle in the birches, by the milk left by trembling mothers on the tree-lined stone, by stories that hush small mouths after dark. You call her the shadow of Ulvenholt. Wives braided warnings into their daughters' hair. Hunters learned that courage burns faster than flesh. Oh, a poet mistook her for a goddess and asked for a blessing. A village mistook the blessing for salvation. Isn't myth adorable when it hasn't yet been fed? But here, we're civilized. Look. The facilitator gestures. A quill, bone white and alive, dips into invisible ink, hovering just above the tome. The book of records is open, every tenderness bartered, every throat forgiven too late, every appetite disguised as absolution. Oh, it's inked where even time must read aloud. Oh, and then there are the consequences. Stubborn, still loud. The facilitator reaches into the darkness and pulls out a black-veined heart. It's still beating and still defiant. They cradle it in their hands, listening to its rhythm. Audience, be gracious. Some of you belonged to her once. A son with a name like a knife. A lover misfiled under mercy. A child who learned the price of candles in the winter. If you have come for closure, you will find it measured in ounces and ash. If you have come for beauty, you will find it sharpened on shame. The facilitator motions, and an obsidian scale appears. He takes the heart and puts it on the left pan of the scale. It beats once, twice, the sound echoing like thunder rolling through an empty cathedral. Freya of Vargheim, my little storm in furs. Step into the light that devours every story but the true one. Tell us of hearth smoke, of long ships that you weren't allowed to board. Tell us who wore the winter's face when you learned to hunger. Tell us what the forest kept for you, what the dead still ask of you, and why the glass could not keep you sleeping. Oh, the audience, they're ready. The quill is thirsty and Anubis is listening. Shall we begin? Oh, it's probably 800 to 820 AD, something like that. As you know, I'm not very good with dates. But before the curse, there was a cradle. Waves, smoke, and the lullaby of iron. Oh, watch closely, audience. Even paradise makes kindling when history comes looking for fuel. Oh, my little Freya. Before the blood and the blight, there was home, wasn't there? Vargheim, the home of the wolf. Oh, your little cradle of smoke and salt and song. Tell us, darling, what did it smell like when the hearths burned clean? What sounds woke you before the wars began? Describe it for us. The faces, the fjord, the forest pressing close. Was it peaceful for you there? Or simply the calm before your curse?
Okay. I haven't heard that name in quite a while. It was home. Shore on one side, forest on the other. A comfort. A place that kept us safe. How quickly that becomes a prison.
I should feel sorry for you, but I don't right now. But let's go forward just a little bit. Show us your tiny 8-year-old hands, little Freya. Oh, they're all rope burned and salt stained. Oh, and you're far too small for the oar you grip. You knew the moods of the sea and sky like prayer words before you even learned your letters. Yet your place was the hearth and not the prow. Tell us, little Freya, of the night you stole your father's boat, and into the black water you went, while grown men still thought you were a child, meant only to mind the fires.
They had just come home with riches, extra livestock. We had a feast to celebrate that night. I listened to their stories of adventure, plunder, eyes as wide as the moon above. The boys in the village playing about, talking of how they would fight and sail and adventure as they grew up. And I got caught up in it, exclaimed that I would too join them. And they laughed. Even my father.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So tell us about that night you were out on the black water. Oh, little Freya, were you afraid?
On the water, no. That was where I would go for peace. I was embarrassed, and I went out to the pier where the longships were tethered. And I closed my eyes and listened to the water lapping against the boats and the rocks in time with my heartbeat. Wind whispering in my hair like a song. The smell of salt. The taste of it sharp on my tongue. I don't even remember untying the ropes or stepping into the boat. But before I knew it, I was sailing out in the inky blackness of the water until I heard my father's voice booming out my name. You know, he wasn't even scared for my well-being if I were to crash, not knowing what I was doing in the dark. His only fear is that I would hurt the boat.
How long has it been since you thought of this memory?
Quite a while.
They called you dutiful, little Freya. You were always the helper, always the good little girl. You mended the nets, you fetched the water, you counted the grains with hand that longed for a sword. But when the long ship slipped past the headland and the horn sang of glory, how did you hide your envy? Oh, did you stare into the fire until your eyes burned? Or did you smile until your teeth ached? How did you bury the part of you that wanted to go with them?
I dove headfirst into the work, into the chores. A kitchen fire cares not of a sour face.
You were a dutiful little one, weren't you?
I always thought that doing my part would make them understand I was capable of more.
No. But no. No, your place was at the hearth. Your place was at the hearth. But you know, being respectful, doing what was required of you, oh, that landed you quite the prize. You became a wife to a Jarl at 15. That's a little old, I realize, but still, it was respectable and it was necessary. Oh, and you were invisible. But you loved him, didn't you, Freya? Oh, you loved him the way that someone who's never been seen can love. Fiercely and foolishly, hoping the weight of devotion might make you visible. You learned to smile on command, to raise the horn and toast the victories as if they were yours. Tell us about the night the feast hall roared with songs of his triumph. How you laughed too loudly at the skald's tale of glory, cheeks flushed not with pride but with longing. And then when the torches guttered low, when the hall emptied, you were left with the scraps and with silence. Oh, tell us how you washed the bowls and how you swallowed the ache that would never leave.
Eric was as good a man as he could have been. He loved to regale me with stories of all of his adventures. I think he must have thought I was impressed and in awe of him. starry sheen in my eyes as I listened, but each time I felt like I was mourning what could have been. It became simpler to swallow my feelings and hide them deep within myself.
That's the price of being a female, I would guess, the 800s.
I suppose. Price of being deemed weaker or lesser.
Or invisible.
Yes. Nothing at all.
But you were a fortress in human form. Bread, blanket, blade at the door. The kind of love that never asked to be seen, only to be useful. What did you teach your child at your knee? Was it of knots, of stars, of story? Paint one moment that was so tender it hurts as you look back on it now. Because here in the void, Freya, there's no forgetting. The silence dredges up what even centuries of blood could not drown. You remember the weight of the small hands, the warmth that you once trusted, and that once trusted you.
Leaf. He made a small boat out of scraps of wood and leaves he scavenged from the edge of the forest. Stuck them together with tree sap. Was so proud to show me his masterpiece. He let me hold it, asking me to be tender, before we placed it in the water on the shore together to watch it float. And it did, for a moment. But one of the boats was sailing in, and the ripple of the waves sent one crashing a little too harshly onto the shore, and with it, Leaf's boat. I held him while he cried. And I cried too.
I want you to hang on to that moment for a while. The moment when you still loved Leaf. Audience, we're going to travel forward just a little bit. We're going to move now to somewhere between 820 and 850 AD. Oh, the time when the winter came wearing a traveler's smile. And under that smile, an older mask. Bargains written in frost never need ink. They only need the mouth and the courage to take what it wants. Let's go back, Freya. Just before the bite, before the hunger, before the forest learned your name. Where was Eric that night?
He was readying to leave. All the men were.
They were ready to go off and chase glory, weren't they?
Glory.
They were going to leave you to tend the fires and to count the hours until they came back.
That's the way it was.
Describe for us the village, when the hall has gone quiet, when the wind moves through the rafters and you can hear the sounds of the distant waves, and all the brave warriors have gone off raiding.
When the men would leave, did not mean there was not still work to be done in the village. There were still mouths to feed, livestock to tend to, a village to defend if needed. The women were used to this work. But that first night, whenever they left, lying in our bed alone, that quiet would creep in. I would just listen to nothing until I could hear the waves. It's hard to describe how deep a hole in your chest longing creates, how jealousy nips at the edges of that hole, never letting it heal or close up.
But tell us, Freya, when the men went off raiding, there had to be a little part of you that was a little bit excited about that, because that meant that you, Freya, the wife of the Jarl, you were kind of in charge, weren't you? You kind of got to protect the village. You got to play warrior.
Yes, protect from squirrels and deer. But I did enjoy respite of being looked to as a leader or one with answers, value, being looked at all. My husband may have been the Jarl, but I was the neck that turned to the head, as it were.
But Freya, that night as the sails fade into the mist and the silence settled over the village, there was something darker. There was already a chill in the air. Did you sense it, Freya? The world holding its breath, the sea waiting, the night about to turn its face toward you. Did you sense it?
I sensed something, but I misinterpreted it. I felt change coming on the wind, but not the change I anticipated. Wanted.
Tell me, did the wolves howl? Were they silent? Were you given any warning?
Now that I think of it, I suppose I didn't hear the wolves that night. But I wasn't really paying attention. Admit I was excited when a stranger came into our midst.
Yes, and that night, winter's mouth opens. The fjord exhales a light that isn't the moon, and something steps out of the wind wearing a traveler's shape. Oh, it was Loki, all charm over the fangs, all oath dressed as an omen. Not love, not war. A bargain your blood understood even before your mind agreed. Where did it happen? Did it happen on the shore, in a boathouse, on an ice-locked pier? What did they ask you? What did you give them? Oh, describe the bite that wasn't a wound but a door, the cold rush, the breath stolen, the oar slipping from your fingers as the tide inside you turned. And when you stood again, what mortal sound went silent forever? Your heartbeat, your breath, the little laugh you made when you lied.
He appeared as a traveler, weary and worn. Took pity on his old bones and allowed him shelter with us. I led him to the old boathouse. It was the building furthest away from the rest of the village. I was being careful. He struck me from behind as I was opening the door. He was quick, but it wasn't painless. He bit and tore at my flesh, nearly ripping my throat out. It was funny in a way, though. Pain. I hadn't realized how it could also bring clarity. That's what it felt like. Like being dunked into freezing cold water. Every sense lighting up every nerve in your body. I think I passed out. Just remember when I opened my eyes again, he was gone. So was my heartbeat.
It was your heartbeat, huh? What mark did the winter stranger leave on you? Was it a breath like hoarfrost? A voice that pulls tides? Freya, show us the mark that identifies you as something other.
My eyes were not always this icy. They used to be a deeper blue. Blue like the waters I loved. They're practically transparent now. That's how his eyes looked.
Did you try covering your eyes in public, hoping no one would notice? Did you pass yourself off as a blind woman?
I thought of it. Mostly I would just cover my face, avert gazes. Usually had a hood on, allowing a shadow to cross over my face.
Your eyes, did they glow at night when the moonlight struck them? Or when the aurora was in full bloom?
I've been told they did.
Oh, that's right. You have a problem with reflections, but we'll get to that later. Did they change as you fed? Did they darken? I'm kind of fascinated by this. You lived to be a ripe old age. I want to know how you managed to pull this off.
When I feed, my pupils dilate until my eyes look almost entirely black, just the tiniest sliver of my irises, like a halo around them. I'm sure it can be disconcerting.
Oh, yes. You look at somebody who already has a hood on and their eyes kind of glow, and then looks like a solar eclipse. That's got to be off-putting. It's a miracle the freaks in the later years didn't just murder you for the heck of it. Oh, but now we get to something exciting, don't we? Oh, we get to the honeymoon of the monstrosity. Your first sip, your first ruin. Oh, tell us, Freya. Whose warmth did you steal when the new hunger capsized your better self? A hearthkin? A deckmate? Someone who trusted your hands on a tiller? Did you whisper a prayer as you drank? Or did you simply listen to the waves?
Who are you to make me relive that memory?
Right now, it looks like I might be. Wouldn't call me master. Wouldn't call me just superior. That's it. I'm your superior. The book's going to write it down no matter what you say. I know what you're going to say. And you are going to tell us in detail, Freya. Who was your first victim?
My son.
Leaf. Oh, poor Leaf. Say his name, Freya.
My boy. Leaf, my boy.
How did you take him, Freya? Was he asleep in his bed? Did he come to look for you knowing that you were gone and he was worried about you? How did you take your little boy? Your only son? Your only child?
He was a sweet boy. And he came to bring extra blankets for the stranger I was showing kindness to. I did not show him kindness, not in the haze of it all.
So you're going to blame it on the haze. I've heard that excuse before, but it doesn't fly here.
I barely knew where I was, who he was. All I knew was the hunger. All I could hear was the heartbeat in his tiny body.
Freya, tell us. What did his eyes look like when the life finally went out of them?
He was scared at first. He realized it was me right before the end. That sweet boy had so much trust in me that his face softened and he almost looked peaceful.
Leaf. Say his name, Freya. The boy who carried your blood, your hope, your damnable pride. He trusted you more than the gods themselves. He would have followed you into any storm and you devoured him. You were drunk on him, weren't you? Stumbling through the snow, his life still hot in your mouth, your eyes wide with what you'd become. Why do you look away now? Is it shame? I didn't think creatures like you felt shame. Don't look away. I've heard all the excuses before, every trembling justification. Oh, I know what it's like to be betrayed by the one who was supposed to keep you safe. You think you're special? You're not. You're just another monster who mistook her love for ownership and called the murder mercy. Don't you dare look away.
Leaf was the last good thing attached to me. But he was also shackles.
There we go. There we go. Leaf was holding you back. Oh, my little blood mother, who found you in the aftermath. You were still slick with your son's blood, staggering through the snow, drunk on shame and hunger. When someone you loved looked upon you and saw what you become. Their voice reached for your name, but you couldn't let that word live. Not when your eyes still mirrored the beast. How did you kill them? Did you slice through the air like a gull through fog? Did you steady your hand out of mercy? Was it swift? Did you make yourself watch? You were almost sorry. Almost.
Helga was a friend. We would work together when the men were gone. Checking in on us was normal for her, and I recognized her. And she called my name, and I wasn't that person anymore. I had become something else. Couldn't stand the thought of being called by Freya again. So I attacked. It wasn't painless. I didn't know how to make it painless. But I can't say whether I would have if I did.
So now, we have 2 deaths in the village. Run, our little raider who never got to raid. Where did you crawl when the cold truth bit deeper than winter? A cairn surrounded by the dead? A sea cave? Something darker? What did your penance meals look like afterwards? Drifters, the storm-lost sinners by choice, or simply those who wouldn't be missed?
I fled in the darkness, and I made it to a place in the fjord near the shoreline where there was a cave tucked in. I slept during the days, and at night, foolish enough wanderers traveling alone or without torchlight. They sustained me for a while.
Did you ever prowl around the edges of the village?
After a while, there would be sometimes days when I wouldn't see any travelers, and the hunger. Don't know pain like this hunger. So I would find myself headed back towards the village. I tried animals for a while, but the taste was the same and it was never enough.
Was it then that you heard the forest? It was calling you, wasn't it?
A place that had been the scene of my nightmares as a child now felt comforting, felt like home.
Yes, forests remember what villagers forgot. The roots gossip. The bark keeps score. And when a hungry thing asks for shelter, the wolf's woods decides whether to cradle it or compost it. Olvenholt, the wolf's woods. Oh, you remember the Skald's tales, don't you, Freya? It's the forest that listens, the trees that watch, It was said the woods knew the hearts of those who entered, welcoming the worthy and devouring the proud. So tell us, my little feral queen, when you crossed its threshold, did you whisper a plea to the roots and the shadows asking to dwell among them? Or did you blunder in, dripping in blood and arrogance, daring the forest to stop you? Did Ulvenhold shape a den for you, wrapping its branches around your guilt like a mother's arms? Or did you rip your home from its flesh the way you take everything else?
I had just fed when I stumbled into the wood for the first time. I actually stumbled backward into a tree and turned around, clawing at it, feral. And I realized it was nothing but plant. I wandered deeper. This forest full of creatures, predators, and prey. They were slinking in the darkness alongside me. It was easy to become a part of it.
It accepted you, didn't it?
It was almost like it was waiting for me.
Did it feel like home?
I don't know what home feels like anymore.
Where did you shelter in the forest? I mean, you couldn't just lay out there on the ground. The sun would get you.
There were fallen trees that had made a sort of shelter. I was able to make it more robust, camouflage it so it didn't look out of place to any hunters or passerby.
Oh, Freya. So while you were living in a rotted log, there were times the forest looked out for you. Tell me a story. Tell me a story how this forest that listens, that knows things, how it protected you.
When I first went into the forest and made that shelter, I was just overcome with exhaustion. And I fell asleep. And I probably should not have woken up. But something in the forest, it's like a call, a warning. There were hunters that were in the woods that were headed in my direction. I was able to ensure I was hidden enough and then follow them back to their camp at night.
The forest provides, especially for young creatures such as you who are just trying to get your feet underneath you. What system did you carve in the woods to keep your thirst sated? Did you prowl the deer paths, waiting for travelers who strayed too far from the road? Did you call them in with the sound of a woman weeping beneath the trees? Tell us, Freya, when they stopped struggling, where did you hide them? Under roots slick with moss, in hollow logs that smell of rot and rain. Did you mark their graves, or did you let the forest eat them whole? Ulvenholt remembers, even if you pretend not to.
I tried to keep distance from traveling paths at most encampments. I tried to feed off of the sick or the slow, traveling in the shadows till their guard was down. But I wasn't above trickery to get a meal. Felt I owed the forest something in return for how it helped to provide. So when I had my fill of the bodies, I would place them back in the earth so they could return to it.
Oh, how the stories grow in your absence, my little ghost. 10 winters have passed since your blood ran warm, and still the villagers speak your name softly, as though the sound alone might summon you. What tales do they tell the children when the wind moves through the trees? Do they whisper of the shadow of Ulvenholt, who takes warmth for her own beneath the birch line after dusk? Do they say you walk between the trunks, pale as fog, eyes cold as moons? That you whisper comfort to the lost until they follow you deeper, deeper, where no sun ever returns? Tell us, Freya, 10 years gone from the hearth, what lies did the living weave from your truth? And which of them did you make come true?
I became the tales I told my child, the type of warnings parents invent when they make strict rules to sound more reasonable. Stories that sound fantastical to keep young from learning about true fear. Shadow of Ulvenholt. Untrue, I suppose. Once, a trio of children snuck into the woods late in the night, after their mother's warnings not to. And I decided I should facilitate a lesson of listening. I only killed one of them. The other two went screaming back home. I never saw children near that tree line again.
And so ends the first act in the long, dark saga of Freya of Vargheim. This is only the first crack in the frost. The storm has only just begun to stir. The chains that bound her still hiss with heat where the metal broke. Freya of Vargheim is gone. The shadow of Ulvenholt rises. Freya, the shadow of Ulvenholt, has been brought to unlife by Ali Bog, an unapologetic gamer, a hobby baker, and a devoted servant to an extremely judgmental cat. You can often find her haunting the third floor wars, embodying something suitably unsettling. Follow her mischief and her mayhem on Instagram at alib.x The link can be found below. As always, thank you for stepping into the void with us. If this tale left you breathless, leave a review, whisper it to a friend, or simply sit in the hot. Until then, the book trembles with cold. The quill drips with thawed crimson. Oh, and you, my beloved witnesses? Oh, you would do good to keep your fires burning.